Hi, Taurus, and welcome to your July 2019 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys hopefully another amazing reading for your month ahead, with some heavier archetypes coming up for you, all thoroughly coming through, flowing through, and moving on. Such a month of moving on and letting go for you. Are you feeling stuck? Are you feeling stagnant? Because you should start to feel a sense of motion energetically, one way or another, very soon here. You have a lot of cards depicting motion: Six of Swords, Ace of Cups, Ten of Wands. But you also have a lot of cards depicting stillness as well: Eight of Swords, Nine of Wands, Seven of Pentacles. You know, this month in general for everyone is such a changing month and such a call to action. The Scorpio Taurus axis does feel very activated to me, which is your axis, Taurus. You and Scorpio share a 180-degree axis, and it is super strong. In fact, you guys might want to even check out the Scorpio reading for July, especially if you have Scorpio in your chart, because there are a lot of similar messages coming up for both of you, I feel like. And a lot of what came up for Scorpio dealt with being halfway to something, experiencing some kind of half life, being halfway to where they've wanted to be for a long time, and the progression and the transition that entails. And I feel that this is also true for you, as you are wrapped up in some type of end phase and a little bit stuck in it. It feels like, Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands, Eight of Swords, Nine of Wands. I would primarily interpret that as, feeling a bit trapped at the end of a rope, feeling a bit trapped at the end of a path. And then you have these two major arcana cards coming in: the Moon reversed and Justice, which really is cutting through the illusion, I feel like, with that reversal of the moon as your central theme. Getting real with what your life is right now, getting real with who has been in your life, what they've contributed, and, maybe some of the errors in judgment that have not only happened from you, but those around you, and forgiving people and forgiving yourself for those things and moving forward into the next chapter. There's a major moving on that has to happen, as well as a shedding of old energy. There's too much around you. There's so many objects you see with like Seven of Pentacles, Six of Swords, Eight of Swords, Nine of Wands, Ten of Wands. There are too many things around, and I feel like you have to start to prioritize, and you have to really make some decisions in July about what you want to see for yourself. But don't let decisions feel so heavy. Choices don't have to be this hard. I keep feeling like when I talk about the decisions, when I talk about the choices, there's a sense of like, oh my gosh, I can't think about this. I can't, handle the pressure of making these decisions, or finding this forgiveness. I want to just keep moving. You can't just keep moving this month. You have to make some decisions about what you're carrying as you move. It's going to be an important month for making sure your back is healthy. Like Ten of Wands is about, spinal health and about posture. And it deals with carrying too much weight and the repercussions that come from carrying too much weight, whether that be physical weight or emotional weight, the damage done to the psyche by carrying too much emotional weight. The emotions are strong this month. I will say that for Taurus. There's a nostalgia here. There's a desire to be elsewhere. There's a desire to progress and transition over to the other side of your life right now, with Six of Swords and Eight of Cups making the interplay that they are. I feel that just on both ends of the spectrum, there's this really strong emotional push for Taurus, which is interesting and different for you. But I think I saw this coming like miles away for Taurus, as you've kind of been building over the last year or two, kind of thinking more about the physicality of life, thinking more about, what am I working? What is my friend group like? What is my life like outside of me? And not that you guys haven't had interior motivation, but it's been more external for Taurus. And this month really takes it back to the internal and really shows you the truth of your experience and the ability to discern that with Justice here, which I really like for you. You have all the ability in the world to discern what needs to be shed, to discern what needs to be overcome and what needs to be left behind. So trust that vision for yourself, okay? I'm going to go ahead and get into the week to week for you, and we'll see what's coming up specifically. Week number 1 in July, you have Six of Swords rooted down by Seven of Pentacles reversed. Again, there's so much around you. There are so many things. This is where you're going to see clearly what you want to move away from and what you want to move toward. and try to not give other people so much control with that. I could see a tendency to let other people decide where you're going or to let other people decide your momentum. And I think that you need to establish that for yourself here. Try to be weary of overspending money, energy, time. Seven of Pentacles reversed is a sign that you have gained a lot. There's a lot around you, there's a lot within. You can't spend it so dramatically. Yet there is a shedding that has to happen. So it's right in that middle zone of, how do I release what is around me? What needs to be released? What needs to be saved? But again, having justice in your reading gives you all the ability in the world to make those decisions clearly. Week number 2, you have the Two of Swords rooted down by Eight of Swords reversed. So very guarded, very walled off. It feels like you've really firmly established who can and can't be in your life, who does and does not have access to you. And that is being questioned here again for Taurus. Like, you're looking at the people that you pulled around you and seeing that some of those people may not have been right or that they've changed recently. Likewise, you could see that the people who have been pushed out a long time ago are also changing, and you have to trust in that ebb and flow, because I feel you to be discouraged by it. I feel Taurus to be discouraged to see other people changing and to see that, oh my gosh, I made the right decision a few years ago, but now things are not feeling right. And there is actually a security within that to know that things can change. Again, Taurus can get really tied into things being too solid, too permanent, too fixated, fixed earth energy. And sometimes when Taurus sees like these sudden changes or people rising to the occasion or falling beneath the occasion when they really looked like they would do the opposite, it can be hard for Taurus because you guys do have a good discerning ability, but sometimes you can see that like the unpredictable aspect of life or the sudden changes that people make that can sneak up on you and take you by surprise. And I think that's what's happening here in the middle of July. And you might be remembering back, maybe it marks some kind of anniversary or something. And, you have to really forgive yourself and other people, I think, during that time. Whether or not that looks like actually establishing closure or reaching out, it probably won't look like that for most of you. For some of you, it might. But what it looks like and what it needs to look like for Taurus is distance and release. Releasing energy doesn't look like holding grudges. Okay. Releasing energy doesn't look like, holding on to preconceived notions. And that's something that Taurus has to remember right now. In order to truly release something, in order to truly let go, you also let go of the expectation that others can't or won't change. You also let go of the past associations with people that obviously do not apply anymore because time has changed them and it's changed you. This is an important thing for Taurus. We're moving into the third week, Justice rooted down by Nine of Wands reversed. Karma, bang, third week of July, karmic moments. And I want you guys to really spend those first 2 weeks in July finding security in the fact that things change, that people change, and that dynamics change. And even seeing security in the fact that you don't know when it's going to happen sometimes. And that can be the best saving grace, from the point of view that, like if something terrible happens, sometimes it brings a blessing with it, even though you could have never predicted that. There's a hope. There's a hope in not being able to predict things and not being able to sometimes see that others will rise or fall to an occasion, so on and so forth. Because in the third week, Taurus, big karmic moment, okay? Justice, seeing people get what they deserve, seeing yourself get what you deserve, which I think for pretty much all Taurus is going to be something so great. I could see the new relationship coming in, but more so or more likely than a new relationship, there's a balance of the mind. There's less of a ability to succumb to volatility. That is so beautiful for Taurus. There's like a sense of ease that is possible to start there. So that's rooted down by Nine of Wands reversed. And Nine of Wands is typically like hard work, endurance, having to do, the last mile of the marathon. That's like the energy of Nine of Wands. So when that's reversed, it sometimes says to me that, we are not going to finish this, or we're going to rest versus, pushing through, which is sometimes very necessary. But I do think that you all have to allow yourself completion of the old story, the old karmic history. You don't just want to pause and drift through. There's a sense of pausing and drifting through that I sense for Taurus right now that is beautiful to overcome, with that faith and security that things change. I think Taurus needs to push through. I think Taurus needs to come to a close of their last cycle because this is like such a great opportunity for it. I feel that July and August, of course, I haven't seen August energies yet for Taurus, but I think that leading up to September is an incredible healing time for you, okay? Where you're not falling into the same patterns, you're not falling into the same cycles, and maybe you don't even expect yourself not to, but you don't. And again, that's that unexpected grace and blessing really proving itself. And you move into the fourth week of July with 10 of Swords rooted down by Ace of Cups. So seeing what love truly is becomes the thing in the fourth week. And you're carrying a lot, you're weighed down, you're emotionally heavy during that time, because to me, Ace of Cups is coloring the 10 of Wands. So that's saying this isn't about, what you're physically taking on. This isn't about like how many jobs you're doing, how many hours you're working, how many weights you're lifting. This is about the emotional weight that you're carrying and the weight of your preconceived notions, the weight of your grudges, the weight of your conviction, I want to say, the weight of your conviction over a certain knowing, over a certain knowledge, and how that has emotionally been generated through the past actions of others. Like, I'm not saying that you guys are just like really succumbing to being pessimistic or negative. No, there are emotional actions that were done, I think, to you long ago, but for some of you more recently too, that warranted some of these like deep emotional lessons. And what are lessons, what are seen as lessons but have become more so grudges. I'm not saying it's not warranted or it wasn't warranted, but things are changing, you're changing, and at this point in time the reality is it only keeps you down. It's not protective anymore. Like some of these preconceived notions or some of these like you know exterior thoughts about who I was or who they were, they're not protective anymore. They're keeping you from pulling in what you want. They're keeping you from having the benevolence that you want. Two of Swords, 10 of Wands, Ace of Cups together. We've got to have a bit of a reset, okay? Emotional reset for Taurus. What a beautiful thing in July. Karmic reset. Not assuming that others can't change, not assuming that others are still the same, That doesn't mean going back to old relationships. That doesn't mean accepting people from the past. That doesn't mean digging and pushing yourself into something because Sky said that people are like better now and people change. It has nothing to do with how you act toward other people. It has to do with how you hold them in your inner space. And something about that in Taurus is damaging Taurus. And Taurus has to really pick up those pieces here and now. And you have the perfect layout to do that. You've been doing it for all of this year, but I think something came up in June or July, or maybe it marks a period of time or something that is more of a trigger or more of a reminder of why you became this way, which had its reasoning at one point in time, but things have changed. And that's what it all comes down to at the root of everything is adaptability, the appropriate mindset and action set for the appropriate environment. And this is a major soul path for Taurus as well. Again, it's fixed earth energy. It likes to find one method of being and stick to it, learn it perfectly, master it, and latch onto it. And that works sometimes, and that's appropriate sometimes, but it's not right now. And to see Taurus being able to adapt, being able to change face, being able to see the actions of others and prescribe the appropriate reaction then and there, not based on past preconceived notions, is an incredible karmically resetting thing for Taurus right now. And you will feel so good. And what are the benefits of gaining this adaptability? Finally pulling in that relationship that you've wanted for so long, finally not being like overtaken by someone's toxic traits and not being able to see them at first, because you can adapt to people's actions and make the appropriate reactions. Releasing control more, not having such a hard time with control. All of that lightens through releasing some of these old emotional, strictly tied patterns that you're very connected to. And this isn't going to be every single Taurus out there. This reading, I feel like it got really connected to one specific type of Taurus. I'm sure that all of you can relate in some way. But for all Taurus, regardless of, whether you're stuck in this type of unadaptable pattern or whether that's not so much an issue anymore, things are changing right now. And the way that you connect with others to your past and your present, all of that is changing for all Taurus in some way. And you just have to go with the flow. For those of you who have a lot of water in your chart or a lot of mutable signs, Sagittarius, Virgo, Gemini, Pisces, it'll be easier because that's a naturally more adaptive energy. But for those of you super fixed, like Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, Capricorn, even some of the cardinal energies as well, this is going to be more poignant and more applicable to you. So be sure to check out your sun, moon, rising sign if you are looking for extra validation and clarification. July is a beautiful month for everyone in some way, and there's something here for everybody that is a great learning karmic experience that makes you feel so much more well placed at the end of this year, because we have 5 retrogrades right now, and we have eclipses, and the hard stuff is dealt with here, and then we kind of go through the rest of the year with a bit more ease. So just keep that in mind. You're working hard here to relax later, all right, when it comes to energy and energy healing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and conclude on that note, Taurus. I hope it's been a good reading for you. If you guys would like to pre-order my new ebook, Moon Symbols, I'll put the link below in the description box. It's about, using lunar energy for healing, understanding your moon sign, the house your moon is in, the phase your moon was in when you were born, and how you can combine all of that together to walk through your life with more emotional healing and emotional strength. That's the name of the game for that ebook, and I'm still in the writing process for it. The release date will probably push back maybe to like sometime in August or even early September. But it's been such a joy to write, and I cannot wait to release it and get it out. It just takes a lot of hoops to jump through to really get everything in line. So that is up for pre-order right now, and you don't get charged until it releases anyway, so it's not even... when it comes to the timing of it, it's all about the actual release of the book. But you can just sign up for the pre-order if you would like to, and that link is below. Also, I am on Patreon if you'd like to get these readings early and ad-free, as well as see my benevolence audio stream. It's a whole other audio stream about, just the general energies, not so astrological, but just collective and channeling and, more psychological. It's really incredible. I love everyone who's over there on Patreon. We have great community. We also have live chats every month, and we all come together and talk. It's a nice, fun, healing thing. A great supportive healing space for everyone. So that link is below as well. And as always, your likes, comments, and subscribes make my day. Liking this video helps to get it out there. And then the subscription obviously will show for whenever I post in your subscription feed on YouTube. So I will be talking to you guys soon. Comment below how you're doing if you get the chance, and we will talk later, Taurus. Much love. I love you guys. You know how I love Taurus. I have so many in my life. I feel like I know Taurus almost better than any other sign, except for maybe Capricorn and Cancer. I know them pretty well too. Anyway, Taurus, good luck. We'll be talking soon. Bye.